In today's tale, a dejected woman files for divorce from her 17-year marriage and proceeds to have more children, but she ultimately comes to regret her decisions. Ronald is my name, and I'm 51 years old. Kathy, my ex-wife, is 47. Our two sons are 19 and 18 years old. My place of employment is a consulting firm where we assist clients with investments. I have to put in a lot of effort to earn the good money I do. Tell me about my former spouse. She is stunning and made a fantastic wife for 17 years. She organized our holidays, looked after our children, and stole the show at get-togethers. I've always made an effort to provide for my family because I see it as my duty as a husband. To ensure my family has the best and can lead a wonderful life, I've put in countless hours in the office and driven thousands of miles. My spouse was stunning, and she was meticulous about her appearance. She exercised frequently, and I helped her out by covering the cost of her breast augmentations and a few cosmetic procedures, such as frequent Botox injections. Despite her beauty, my wife lacks proficiency in non-skill areas such as household chores, car maintenance, and money management. She was happy because she was good at figuring out where to get the best dresses. She occasionally lost her temper and became agitated when things didn't go her way, but she is unquestionably devoted to our children. Not everything went according to plan after our 16th wedding anniversary. The world economy was significantly impacted by the COVID-19 pandemic. My income dropped, and it makes sense that spending would drop as well. However, my spouse held an alternative viewpoint. During the pandemic, she was upset that she was unable to meet with her friends or go shopping for new clothes. She resumed her regular activities after the pandemic was over, but her demeanor appeared to have slightly altered. Certain aspects of our home life had to suffer as I knew I would have to put in a lot of work to get things back on track. To kill time at home, my wife started using TikTok, and to her surprise, she developed a sizable fan base there. My wife and I became more and more estranged over time. I made an effort to spend time with her, but she was more interested in sharing updates about her day and creating TikTok videos. I began to get worried when I would occasionally watch her videos. Her videos, which addressed women's oppression and freedom, took on a darker tone. I became even more concerned when she complimented Mia Khalifa in one video for her skill at gathering wedding rings and keeping Tom Brady on his toes. Kathy and I had a conversation that I will never forget. I was shocked to hear that she wanted a divorce. It seemed as though the years of love and companionship were coming to an end. She told me she didn't feel loved and that we shouldn't be together because we weren't compatible when I asked her why she wanted a divorce. She said she didn't think we looked good together any longer. I realized that my demanding job had kept me from working out, and I'm not very athletic. I had gained a little weight over time. My wife was never a trophy to be displayed, and I never thought I would be cast aside because I didn't look good next to her. I cried all night after 17 years of marriage and didn't know what to do. She declined my offer to work out, stating that she just needed to feel loved and wanted to travel. She had not attempted self-sufficiency in years, so I cautioned her that she might encounter difficulties for which she was unprepared. I advised her to think again and realized that the world outside her safe haven of her home could be difficult for someone 47 years old. Kathy made no adjustments to her choice. I informed my sons over the phone of their mother's choice. They conveyed their shock and worries for her welfare as well. There have been multiple instances where Kathy has attempted to handle things on her own, which worries us. She once put vegetable oil in the car instead of engine oil, for instance, and I had to pay thousands of dollars to have it fixed. You can understand, then, why we're so worried about her. I made every effort to persuade Kathy otherwise, but she was set on the path to love and freedom. Although I considered asking her if she was having an affair, I decided against it since I knew it would make me feel worse. I asked my attorney to draft the divorce papers when we sat down. Since Kathy and I never shared an account, the majority of my funds were placed in a trust for my son's future academic pursuits and possible business endeavors. The amount of money in my personal account was not very large. Kathy was okay with me selling our house and giving her a sizable payment. I've reached a point where I've decided not to waste any more time with Kathy. I've come to understand that my intense desire to make her happy may have played a role in her decision to leave, and I'm ready to focus on the next chapter of my life. Kathy and I got divorced the day we met at the court. I asked her one last time if she understood the consequences of her actions. She replied that she was there for her freedom and would soon be soaring high in the sky. After our divorce, Kathy moved to a new apartment that she leased, while I continued with my life and eventually bought a small apartment. A few days later, one of my colleagues, Maria, asked me out for dinner, and I agreed. Over the next few weeks, we started dating. Maria was an intelligent and good-looking woman. Meanwhile, Kathy continued with her video content. One day, I stumbled upon a video where Kathy was explaining why she got divorced. She mentioned that she didn't feel loved, and after 17 years of marriage, she wanted to explore and find love. Many of her followers cheered and left approving comments. When I checked these followers, I noticed that most of them were middle-aged women. It seems that like-minded people tend to come together. I had a feeling that Kathy would soon come to understand what it means to be single, and I didn't have to wait long for it to happen. In one of her videos, she expressed her concerns about managing daily tasks like taking out the garbage, changing a light bulb, and ensuring her car was serviced on time. In her next video, she explained that she was now looking for a date and even shared her Tinder profile and asked people to write and swipe her. She mentioned that she would choose who would be lucky enough to date her. I was disgusted and didn't expect her to go to such lengths. A week later, there was another video where she was explaining why her new boyfriend is now her ex-boyfriend. She explained that her ex-boyfriend was interested in only getting in her pants. She was giggling, and it seems that even though she got pumped and dumped, she did not find that disgusting. The very thought that the mother of my kids is now being pumped by Tinder simps. In just a few days, she returned with another video stating that men were only interested in one-night stands with her. She also laughed about her experiences with 2 or 3 night stands. It seemed like her standards were falling rapidly, akin to the fall of Enron stocks. On the other hand, my relationship with Maria was going strong. We planned a trip for Memorial Day with my 2 sons and went out as a family. I didn't inform Kathy because I felt that she no longer deserved to be with us. My sons posted some of our pictures together on Instagram, and Kathy saw them. It seems she didn't like what she saw. Her comment on the pictures saying, "I gave birth to you and always remember that," didn't sit well with her kids. My younger son disliked her comments and removed them. A day later, she went on a rant on TikTok expressing how she didn't feel loved and how she hadn't been given the opportunity to work outside her home. She even mentioned that she felt like a prisoner in her own home and how she felt oppressed after her kids were born, having to take care of them full-time. She continued by saying how I had accumulated a lot of money and hadn't shared it with her. She mentioned that she felt nearly broke and believed she had been betrayed in the divorce. She cried and talked about spending Memorial Day alone, watching other people with their families. I guess Chad and Tyrone were busy with their families and left Kathy alone. Yes, I worked very hard and earned a lot of money. For the benefit of my children and my ex-wife, I earned that money. Even though she had been informed of the risks, Kathy still made the decision to give up her life of luxury and paid the price. I noticed that she had a black eye in her subsequent video. She claimed that because her Tinder date was misbehaving, she was attacked. This occurred at a bar when she asked him to cut back on his drinking, and he became irate and inebriated. Her Tinder date was arrested by the police. In an attempt to meet men who would ask her out, she declared she would stop using online dating services and limit her dating to people she meets at neighborhood malls. I don't think a 47-year-old woman would be approached by a gentleman for a date, but simps would definitely approach her just to have a pump and dump. Maria and I are getting married after my proposal. My sons are pleased and supportive of me. I didn't want to talk to Kathy, so I haven't told her about it. She's now just an inexpensive way for me to pass the time. A few days later, I noticed Kathy dancing in her underwear on TikTok, so I suppose a lot of people were treated to a treat. One day later, I was asked by a coworker if my ex-wife was all right and if she had any mental health problems. I snapped at him, telling him to get in touch with Kathy. I didn't know why he was requesting that of me. I hadn't seen Kathy's video, in which she was sobbing and expressing her wish that she hadn't divorced me. She expressed her longing for her well-mannered spouse and her beloved sons. She continued by saying that since her divorce, she has never experienced true love and that men have only ever dated her for brief encounters and cheap thrills. She is miserable now because there was no love. She is considering taking her family back to her hometown. She is confident that her spouse will accept her back and forgive her. That boat has sailed, Kathy, and its new sailors are on board. You had better go to bed in your house now that you've made your bed outside of it. You refused to listen to my warnings, reminders, and entreaties, and you persisted in looking for your alleged freedom and love. Your delusion drove you insane, but your alleged supporters convinced you that you had made the right decision. I found true love and a wonderful partner when you were gone. Conversely, you were simply growing your body count. Best wishes, and hopefully you never even consider getting in touch with me again. I am not a junkyard dog, I am an expert in investments. In a private ceremony, I tied the knot with just my sons and a few close friends and family. There was nearly mayhem when Kathy broke into my marriage after finding out about it in some way. She began to scream and was on the verge of smashing the wedding cake. My son stopped her, and the security guards led her away from the event. She was waiting outside the venue, and as soon as I emerged, she began to accuse me of betraying her and leaving her. She sobbed and accused me of causing her suffering. My younger son grabbed her hand and stopped her just as she was about to throw a stone at Maria. My older son reported her to the police, leading to her arrest. When I heard someone discussing Kathy's behavior at my marriage and referring to her as a level 47 Karen, I nearly passed out. I'm hoping that the restraining order we later obtained against her will prevent her from coming near us. I'm on vacation with Maria in Paris after 6 months. Everything in life is well. Yeah, I still watch Kathy on TikTok, and I still laugh at her insane outbursts. If you've made it this far, listener, please click the subscribe button. It will be very beneficial.